All right, so the NHL draft was tonight. Pretty exciting draft. Obviously, following the end of the season, we have the draft. The Sharks, who had a pretty down year last season, obviously got a pretty decent pick. The Sharks are the 7th overall pick, and a lot of guys to choose from. Obviously, a lot of the good ones were taken off the board, such as Owen Power, but they had, stuff good players to choose from, right? So Owen Power went first. Matty Benier was chosen by the Kraken. There were a lot of good guys out there, but the guy that they were looking at and eventually picked was William Eklund from Sweden. And obviously a young, good player. He's 18, but he's the top European skater ranked by NHL Central Scouting. He won Rookie of the Year in his league. So a lot of good things I've heard about him. He's a left winger, and he played in Sweden, like I said. I think there were a lot of players in this draft that were very NHL ready. And I think, he spent the last 2 years in the top Swedish league, and he's been good in it. So I think, I think he's ready. He played 40 games, with his team. He led scoring in under 19 players across the league with 11 goals, 12 assists. He was named the league's Rookie of the Year, like I said. He can play center and left wing, which is pretty good. He's 5'10", so not the tallest guy ever, but, I think he's still very capable of leading the team. He was kind of held back from participating in the World Juniors tournament, with, some health problems, but I think he's very ready, to come to the league next year. And I think, this 1 year of development in Sweden will definitely help him out. He's exceptional from what I've seen. I honestly, I haven't heard much about him before tonight, but I did research, and obviously I found a lot of good stuff about him. He has very good vision. Very, not the fastest guy, but that's one thing that he will work on. And I'm happy about this pick. I mean, having the 7th pick, there's not too much you can go wrong with it, because you're not going to get the best player in the draft, but you're most certainly not going to get the worst either. With the 7th pick, ironically, my two of my teams have the 7th pick. The Warriors have it too. So maybe that's a lucky number. I don't know. But I think he was a steal. I think he was a top 3 talent in this draft, and he wasn't taken by the other 6 teams. I think, for example, you look at the Anaheim Ducks, Mason McTavish. I did not expect that guy to get picked at that position, right? So I think, it's definitely a good pick. Sharks announced it from SAP Center. It was good. And I think with a team like the Sharks trying to keep the core together, when you do that, you have to get young guys, right? And so I think that's kind of why they got, a younger goalie. They have, obviously this guy. They got a lot of guys in the AHL capable of tearing up the league, and I think they're going to do so well. So I think Eklund, I'm excited for him. I'm happy with this pick. Obviously, a guy like Owen Power would have probably been a better pick, but, we didn't have a pick like the Sabres did. But a lot of guys from Michigan taken off the board, but we got an international player, William Eklund, and I got to say I'm pretty satisfied with the pick. I think this guy has a lot of talent, a lot of, room to improve, but a lot of potential as well, like most rookies do. And, at the 7th pick, we'll see what happens. The Sharks don't have a 2nd-round pick. They do have a lot of later picks. The Erik Karlsson trade kind of lost them some picks. But as we know, I think this is a good one. We'll see what he does, and obviously we'll have other rounds to look at as well. So we'll see what happens. Quinn Hughes was a 7th overall pick, a very sensational player. So I think he's very capable of, tearing up the league. I think the Sharks are a pretty good drafting team overall. So let's see what happens, and see you guys later. Go Sharks.